Hello, how's everyone doing? Welcome everyone, hope you're doing well. Who's ready for QUALI? Doing better than last night, James. Yeah, it was a night to forget for you in the sim racing world. That is for sure. That is for sure. Yeah, welcome everyone. Hope you're well. Not quite sure why the chat box isn't appearing up on screen right this second. Hopefully it will adjust itself. Let's see if we can get that working. But yeah. How's my day been so far? Yeah, good. We went for a baby scan earlier on, which is why, unfortunately, guys, I couldn't do FP3. So yeah, everything's all a-okay though. So got to see the little girl on screen, and yeah, we did a bit of shopping, and here we are, ready for QUALI. So looks like I missed an interesting FP3 as well, because everyone was using their car as a weapon by the looks of it. During the FP3 session, there was a fire in the Mclaren hospitality part as well. So yeah, typical. The one practice session I missed, some things actually happened. But yeah, I'm very well, thank you guys. Hope you are all too. Get back to this 23, it's better than ever. Yeah, no, I will be planning on doing some over this weekend just. So yeah, but we've got F1 in hand. Going to spend a bit of time with the missus this evening, watch a nice movie night, and then tomorrow I'll do some sim racing probably. So hey Adita, yeah, welcome Ray, Raf, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everyone wherever you are in the world. We're on course for a good qualifying session, I think. It's not looking a clean cut pole position for Max Verstappen. If you've seen the pole, as some of you have asked, why is it only Max Verstappen and not Red Bull? Well, of course, Checo Perez. We don't have much hope, do we? We don't have much hope. So yeah, the Ferraris look pretty swift, didn't they? They look pretty good with then the big upgrades they've got here this weekend. Mercedes look pretty good as well, as do McLaren, who've just been continually solid. So I think we're in for another real close qualifying session here at Barcelona. Apparently it's quite windy as well, so a big gust of wind through one of the corners could throw off and compromise your fast lap. But yeah, it's going to be a good one. Hey Georgian, when's it starting? It starts on the hour, guys, on the hour. Now, I have just discovered also that YouTube have given me some free gifted memberships that I'm now going to do now. So five of you lucky viewers are about to get a membership. So let's do this and see how it works. There we go. Bosh. I have gifted 5 members. So there we go. You lucky 5. Raf, Eric, EO, Junior, Walter. You are now part of the pit crew. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Supremacy. So welcome to the pit crew, guys. And yeah, if you'd like to join the pit crew also, you can hit that join button. I think I do get some more gifted memberships later on in the month or something that I'll do. So have it for a month. So it's a month. 1 month is the gifted membership. It doesn't automatically renew. That's up to you to automatically renew. But yeah, it's a good club. It's a nice club. So they didn't. I don't think they chose alphabetically. But yeah, afternoon. So I'm waiting for the data to become available for us so we can then set up and head to, of course, our usual screen. But at the moment, let's have a look at the poll. There is 123 votes and it's tight. 29% of you, or 28, or it keeps moving up and down, around 30%. Max Verstappen, 29%. McLaren, Ferrari, it's close. Mercedes even have 17%. So it's not, yeah, it's not completely done and dusted. No one thinks it's going to be an absolute blitz by Max Verstappen. So McLaren is fast, yes. And this is multi-viewer, Bretty, multi-viewer. You're going karting on Wednesday. I'm not the best man for karting. I'm quite slow in a go-kart, unfortunately. That's mainly because I'm quite big. But yeah, just foot on the front. Don't be shy on the throttle. Get on the throttle. Try and find the limit, and then bring it back a little bit from there. That would be my advice to you. But you'll massively enjoy it if it's your first time go-karting. Go-karting's real good fun. Real good fun. Morning call, morning. 70% of viewers are delusional, James. I disagree. I said yesterday in FP2, I have a sneaky feeling Lewis Hamilton is going to dig deep this weekend and get a result. I think the Merc is quite good. We know qualifying's really tight. It all depends on where Lewis can qualify. We know that. Montreal, he had an opportunity and ballsed it up. He fumbled it massively and just didn't put him out of an opportunity of potentially winning that race. Because George Russell could have won that race if he didn't make the mistakes he did. So Lewis could have done as well if he sorted out his qualifying. So if he qualifies well here, I think we could see a Lewis Hamilton win. I genuinely think that. Mercedes are always strong here, and Lewis is always strong at Barcelona. So, thought Lewis being sabotaged. Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? We're about to find out. Red Bull's struggling a bit from last few races. They are, yeah, but I mean, obviously Max Verstappen, the difference, he's doing very well at the moment. Supremacy, thank you for the 99p. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. Why is it not showing up on my alerts here? Hang on a second. I thought I had this all turned on because there should have been a nice funky alert for everything. Don't know why that isn't. Hang on. Why is that not showing up? That's really odd. Where's everything on here? Oh, I'll have to sort it out later. Something to sort out for the next stream, unfortunately. Not set up on this scene, which is a shame. Hopefully this comes at least P3. Yeah, potentially. Grosjean. Any predictions? My top three, guys. Ooh. I'm gonna say. Oh, who do I go for? I'm going to say Carlos Sainz pole position. I think Max Verstappen will be second, and I think Lewis Hamilton will be third. And then maybe the two Mclaren. I mean, I really can't tell, but I do think Lewis will be up there. I think Carlos Sainz will be up there. Max, we always know Max pulls it out the bag. It's going to be another real tight one. It could be another real tight one. It is a bold prediction, but I do think Lewis is going to dig deep here. I really do think he is. Will Sergio Perez make it to Q2? You hope so. I mean, where did he end up in FP3? Where I missed it entirely. I know Sainz was at the top. Where did Perez end up in FP3? He didn't look too great, did he, in FP2? Where did he end up, guys? He was... Ooh. Is that right? Hang on, practice. He was 7th. Okay, that's not too bad. But I mean, that's still 4 tenths off of Lewis Hamilton in P6 and 7 tenths off of Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. So, like... He's somewhere off the back. I think he'll get through to Q3. I think he will, but I don't think he'll be up there fighting for like the top 6 positions. Just looks like everyone else is that much better than him and looking much more in control of the car. So, Perez's free place. Oh yes, he also does have a free place grid penalty. Yes, for what he was doing in where he trundled back, didn't he, in Montreal with that broken rear wing. So the Red Bull team knew that he had that rear wing and didn't want to bring out a safety car, and they allowed him to trundle back to the pit lane. So yeah, you like the music? Me too. Safety car predictions. Well, the thing is tomorrow is that we are predicted rain, I believe. I think the forecast for tomorrow is rain. So yeah, whenever there's rain about in these modern F1 cars, there is always a possibility of a safety car, or probably a high probability of a safety car. Anyway, but Has the data gone live yet? No, data not gone live yet. But just keep voting in the poll, guys. If you haven't voted in the poll, let us know. Who do you think is going to be on pole position? Is it going to be Max Verstappen, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes? Who do you think? At the moment, 34% is Max Verstappen. I get why. I get why he was on pole position last year by half a second. McLaren in second with 26%. Ferrari 23%. Mercedes, higher percentage than I thought. Of course, George Russell pole position in Montreal last week. Can they continue that form? Is it a true resurgence, or was it just track specific? We will see. Will an Alpine beat Perez? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. What's up with the audio? Is the audio okay? Is my mic okay, guys? Let me know. I have been having a couple of issues, I think, with my mic, so let me know if the audio is a little bit... if the mic does drop out for some reason, let me know. Please, I'll just unplug and re-plug in. So, audio good. Audio's good? Sweet, sweet. Yeah, just please do let me know in chat. I had a couple of issues with it yesterday where just plugging it in and out again was okay. Seemed to fix it. So yeah, please, if it does go funky during the stream, you know how I am. I can get in a flow and sometimes miss things. Just go, check mic, please. And I'll see it in the chat. So, Lewis top 3 in quali. Yeah, I think so. I think so. So, who did see FP3? Who did see FP3? Or who has seen the incidents with Lance Stroll, Lewis Hamilton, and then Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris? Who's seen those? What do you guys think of those incidents? Thanks, Clan. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, what do you think of those incidents? Do you... Did Leclerc get a penalty? Nothing yet. There's been nothing announced yet. They've been to the... All of them have been to the stewards. But there hasn't been an announcement yet on if there are any penalties. I'm just loading up Twitter now to see if there is anything announced. It doesn't seem to be. Nothing yet, but they have been to see the stewards. Which means incident. Stroll is a troll. Ham really didn't see Stroll coming. Yeah, so if you're not aware of what happened, guys, just a quick search on Twitter, you'll find it. Both incidents. Basically, Hamilton didn't see Lance coming up to turn 4. Is it turn 4, the downhill left-hander? But he got sufficiently out of the way. Lance Stroll kind of followed the line that Hamilton took through that corner while he was moving out of the way, and then just didn't turn and just went straight into the side of Hamilton. Totally unnecessary. Gave himself floor damage, and just called Lewis Hamilton a few names. And then Charles Leclerc, similar kind of situation. From my understanding, Lando Norris was impeding, wasn't being the most nicest out on track, letting people by. And Charles Leclerc kind of took offence to that. And as they were heading down into turn 5, Lando Norris has moved all the way over to let Charles Leclerc go, and Charles Leclerc used his car, got very close to Lando Norris, dabbed his brake. I mean, they're both bad. They're both bad, and it's not normally what you'd see from Charles Leclerc. It's a bit out of character, really. But they both use their cars to, in a way, but yeah, they to show their dissatisfaction, and it's just completely wrong, regardless of what's happened before. They can't be doing that, so hate how much they overreacted. Look, it's difficult to say because we all know what it's like. Most of us know what it's like driving out on the road. Just, of course, if you're not young enough yet, you've got this all to. If you're not old enough yet, sorry, and you've got this all to come. But there is, when you're out on the road, your senses get very heightened. Your emotions get heightened. Someone cuts you up. Someone doesn't use an indicator, myself included. You're like, effing and blinding sometimes. And let alone what it's like in an F1 car. So I get emotions are high, but you can't be using your car as a way to show your dissatisfaction like that. You can't be. So, Who's going to win the Euros? Definitely not England, the way we've been playing. Lance Stroll was given a reprimand for his FP3 incident with Hamilton, whatever that means. A reprimand. See, I don't think he should. I don't think either of those drivers should be given a reprimand. They should just be told, nope, that's one place grid drop penalty. Like, even if it doesn't have to be free, just one place, and go, look, you don't use your car, no matter how slow you're going, as a way to show dissatisfaction. Deal with it after you get out. So, hey Violet, do I think Max will get pole? Potentially, yeah, potentially. Mini's reacting like he just lost the fastest lap. Yeah, it's ridiculous. How many times have we not seen Stroll turning before? Yeah. Am I streaming after the watch-along for it? I don't know. Probably not. I'm probably going to record a race because I'm going to spend the evening, some quality time with the missus this evening. Yeah, so I probably won't do a stream. I'll probably do one tomorrow after the race. But yeah, I'll probably record something and put a video up for this evening. Right, looks like the live timing is available. So let's just get ready to rock and roll. Sort this out. Right, let's go. Here we go. Let's move that over. Let's move that there. Bosh, ready to go. There we go. Ready to rock and roll. When will I be on the Missed Apex? Not sure when I'm next going to be on it, Carl. We've got obviously 3 races coming up, haven't we? I'm not on it this weekend. I did the Patreon pod yesterday. So yeah, I'll probably be on. I imagine I might be on maybe one of the next couple of races. I am going to be in Milton Keynes for the live show, guys. If you are followers of Missed Apex, you get a chance to meet me in person. I know obviously it's what a lot of you aspire to do is meet myself in person. Trust me, it's a big letdown. Don't get your hopes too high. But yeah, no, I'll be doing the live panel for the Missed Apex in Milton Keynes the Saturday, qualifying. So I'll be doing the watch along and then heading up to Milton Keynes afterwards for that. But yeah, maybe I might be on one of the shows, I imagine, in the next few weeks. The cursed Dutchman. Daddy Stroll's checkbook used again. Yeah. So, but the thing is, with those incidents, they only risk damage to their cars. Like, well, Lance Stroll definitely has caused damage to his car. So, yeah, definitely. I'm good, Veronica. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Welcome, everyone. Over 300 of you in here as we are fast approaching Q1. Just 10 minutes until qualifying gets underway. Let's get the sector times up as well so that I can obviously keep an eye on that for you guys. And let's have the race control messages as well, just in case anyone does something a little bit naughty that they shouldn't be doing in qualifying. But yeah, we'll see. Williams on pole. I sound like Devon Butler when I laugh, do I? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's the F1 guy, innit? The F1 racing career thing. My pleasure, Power. My pleasure. Do I think Hamilton deserves his 8 soon? I mean, does he deserve it? Not on the form that he's had the last 3 years. No, there's lots of drivers who deserve a world championship, but arguably, I don't want to go back there to 2021, but he's an 8-time world. I see him as an 8-time world champion. That's not to take anything away from Max Verstappen. He could have won. He did win that world championship, of course. The history books will say that, but yeah, in my eyes, he is. But look, 7 is still a lot of world championships, isn't it? and he's not retired yet. He could still win one. But there's a number of drivers who deserve a championship or deserve more, and they haven't got them. So that's just how it pans out. So if Hamilton gets out of his own head and drives the way he knows, number 8. Yeah, look, so obviously this year has not been great in regards to the stats against George Russell. And then, of course, there's been the whole sabotage thing. But let's just remove that entirely. And I've mentioned this before. There is a difference in mentality at the moment with George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton has spent the last decade at the top, driving a top car, driving for world championships, driving for pole positions and race wins. And he's now in a position where, over the last 3 years, where he hasn't had the car to be able to do that. No matter how good of a driver you are still limited to the machinery underneath you. And the Mercedes, only on rare occasions, has been able to fight for pole positions or fight for a win. And for Lewis, that's a very kind of disheartening feeling. And he'll have more of a negative, that will have more of a negative impact on Hamilton compared to Russell, in comparison, who come from the bottom of the grid in Williams, trying to just get out of course, he was Mr. Saturday, good at qualifying, but in the races, it was all about just trying to get a point if he can, or not finish last, to then being in a team that's fighting potentially for podiums like towards the front of the grid. His mentality is going to be a lot more positive than Hamilton, who spent the last decade fighting at the top. And there's that to it. And Lewis, of course, is at the end, coming to the end of his career as well. So there's that attitude. Time's not on his side. George Russell, there's plenty of time on his side. So understandably, George is going to be a bit more buoyant. Is that the right word? Buoyant. And have a bit more of a spring in his step, especially with the small gains that they'll make, because he has time on his side. Lewis doesn't, and that's why he's moving to Ferrari. And we probably, if Lewis does get a car that can fight for wins and can fight for a world championship, we'll see probably Lewis of old return. But at the moment, yeah, it's probably mentally a lot more tougher for him than it is for George. Everyone except Lance deserves it, and K-Mag says, yeah. Max Verstappen pole and victory. Potentially. Look, never rule Max Verstappen out, especially in this current era. 364 votes and 34% of you say Max Verstappen for pole position. But it's quite equal between McLaren, Ferrari and Mercedes, which I liked. This is the state F1's in at the moment. It's not a slam dunk. In the start of the year, we would have had 90% of you would say Max Verstappen would be on pole position. Not anymore. Not anymore. So, just watch what happens now. Mercedes have caught back up and there's real points on the line. Yeah, potentially. But of course, Lewis is in a bit of a predicament because he's on his way out of the team, and understandably, even remove all of this sabotage talk, he is never going to have been preferred. He was never, as soon as that announcement to Ferrari was made, he was never going to be the preferred driver at Mercedes this year, regardless of how well he's been. Of a servant to the team, how many championships he's won, and etc. That all goes out the window as soon as he has announced he's moving to another team. They have to focus on George Russell and the future of the team. Of course, it does seem like that there's maybe a bit of respect that's been lost between Hamilton and certain senior members. I think that relationship is definitely strained at the moment between Hamilton and Toto, and I also think there's a bit of naivety with Hamilton as well, expecting probably more of a fairer go at it this year. I think he expected maybe a bit more of an equal footing with George Russell this year, and I think he's probably been a bit taken aback of how much they're potentially favouring George over himself, which is a bit naive of him. Just because you've been somewhere for so long and had so much success, you're the one who's made the decision to go elsewhere. Some people might have taken that a bit personally. We're all human. Some people probably just think, yeah, it's business, but some people take things a bit more personally than that. That's what's led, of course, into the sabotage rumours. Whether there's any validity to it, and of course the nature of the email and stuff, and those claims, where it's come from. Is it a whistleblower? We don't know. Is it a crazy fan? We don't know. I imagine the truth will come out in that regard, but Mercedes haven't necessarily poured cold water on that. They could easily come out and squash those rumours. Instead, they're not, which is a bit bizarre. So yeah, stay tuned for that, but we'll see. Couldn't agree more. Negativity around Mercedes and Lewis's Ferrari move isn't helping the team or the drivers. Yeah. Hey Graham, good to see you, mate. Welcome. Lewis needs to have the Michael Schumacher after his festival. Yeah. Did I hear McLaren hospitality suite? Yeah, I did. Yeah, thankfully, no one was severely injured. A couple of team members have been sent to hospital for checks for smoke inhalation, but thankfully, everyone is all safe and sound from the McLaren hospitality. There was an electrical fire in between the floors. It's from what I read, and yeah, it is under control. So yeah, thankfully, it wasn't severe, and that they got it under control pretty quickly. But yeah, very, very, very. Not what you want to see, of course, at any sporting event or anywhere. So fires are a scary thing. QUALI hasn't started. No, in a few minutes' time, guys. In a few minutes' time, wherever you are in the world, on the hour is when this is going to start. Thank you for all of the subscriptions, guys, that are coming in. Let's see if we can get that number at the top right hand of your screen. Let's see if we can get that to 26,000. That'd be amazing, and continue to grow this great community we've got here. And hit that like button as well. We're 28 likes away from 100 likes before qualifying even starts. That'd be brilliant. He's not been sabotaged. That's just Hamilton for you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I generally don't know. It's weird that an email has come out. I think it is. There has always been shady stuff that has happened in F1 throughout the years, where teams have hampered other drivers to favour another driver. If you deny that, then you're denying like just human beings' personalities and their will to win and to favour other people. When you've got over 1,000 people working in a team, do you really think everyone in your workplace, you don't like everyone in your workplace, do you? Like, no matter what industry you work in, you don't get on with everyone. There's someone who riles you up a little bit. There's someone that you'd rather not work with. There's someone you'd rather see progress higher in their job than someone else. That's just human nature, and that's the same in sport as well. The allegations, of course, of like genuinely like putting his life at risk and stuff. Of course, these are allegations. I'm not so sure I agree with, but yeah, there's things that they could probably do to hamper a driver and make it seem like yeah, he's not necessarily like he's just not on the pace as the favoured driver. So yeah, that's sport, that's F1, that's what's happened in the past. And for people to, of course, no one's ever going to come out and admit that they've done that unless they've been retired and they're no longer in the sport. No one currently within the sport is going to admit that happens because it's a bad look on them. So, one whose hospitality in McLaren drivers borrowed before quality. Could be quite brave for Lewis to get a championship for Ferrari. Yeah. I mean, look, I think I'd love Lewis to win an 8th, but look, I just want to see the best drivers fighting it out at the top, and we are getting closer to that now. I didn't think we'd have it as close as we are right now in this season. We all thought Max Verstappen and Red Bull were going to run away with it, and yes, Max has still won races, but he's been made to fight for him. He's been made to dig deep for him, and that's all we've wanted as fans. All we wanted is for there to be actual fights and intrigue at the top, and that's what we're getting. I mean, the poll indicates that. 488 votes, 34% of you at the moment think Max Verstappen will get pole position. McLaren 24%, Ferrari 23%. It's pretty level pegging with them, with Mercedes just a little bit behind. And well, guys, we are only seconds. Well, we are. Qualifying is underway here at Barcelona. I'm going to stop the poll. Come on, a few more of you. Come on, let's get this 7 more votes. Let's get it to a round number for the poll. My OCD is kicking in right now. 2 more votes. Come on. 499. There we go. Just over 500. That's fine. That's fine. So 34% of you think Max Verstappen is going to get pole position. 23% McLaren, 22% Ferrari, and 19% Mercedes. 501 votes. Well, we don't have very long to find out, guys, as Q1 is underway. Logan Sargent first out with Zhou Guanyu and Ricciardo coming up behind. Track temperature is 37.6 degrees, so it is hot out there. We're only an air temperature of 24. The wind hasn't picked up yet. Keep an eye out on that wind monitor there, guys, at the top of your screen. That has been getting a little bit higher, and Barcelona is known for getting a bit windy and into some of these corners, downhill, off camber. A lock up here or there, of course, can massively put you at a disadvantage and ruin your hot lap. So we will see. We will see. So it's good to watch race with equal machine. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Max 1, Lando 2. Dark score. Nice. 501. Oh, yeah. Didn't realise that. 180. But yes, here we go. So Logan Sargent is going to be the first driver out here. So just for your recollection, guys, and timing-wise, the fastest lap that we have seen this week is a 1:13.0. That was in FP3 by Carlos Sainz. Well, a number of drivers, actually, in FP3. The fastest lap we saw last year in qualifying was a 1:12.2 by Max Verstappen. That was 5/10, half a second quicker than Carlos Sainz in P2 last year. So they're the kind of the times you're looking out for. Anything kind of in the high 13s is not going to be good enough here in the start of this Q1 of this qualifying session. So Logan Sargent, 22.2 in the first sector. Of course, he has set the fastest, is 2 tenths down on Zhou Guanyu there. So not a great first sector for Sargent, who potentially could be out of the Williams seat come the summer break. There is strong rumours that Kimi Antonelli will be promoted to that seat for just half a season. Carlos Sainz's signature is due to be announced very, very sharply. There's still rumours that he hasn't signed it, but I've heard otherwise. So, yeah, looks like Carlos Sainz moving to Williams for next year, and then Sargent potentially out before the year is even finished. So, Sargent is going to be the first to set a lap time. He comes across the line and does a 1:14.3, so not even a high 13 second there, guys. That's not great. Let's see Zhou Guanyu as Daniel Ricciardo goes with the fastest first sector, a 21.9. Oh, actually, Lance Stroll was just taking it off of him, to be expected from the Aston Martin. And Zhou with a very slow middle sector there, actually. He, wow, 29.8 in the middle sector compared to a 29.6 from Logan Sargent. But you can see there, Daniel Ricciardo, 29.5 in the middle. Yuki Tsunoda's going okay. He's just slightly behind his teammates' time there. But these will be, of course, 2 bankers for these drivers. Lance Stroll, is he going to nick that fastest middle sector? No. Daniel Ricciardo, a 10th quicker as he goes in with a 13.7. That still probably going to be not good enough to get out of the bottom 5, I'd imagine. And a 14.0 from Yuki Tsunoda definitely won't be either. So, Lance Stroll, as he comes around, still none of the big boys out there. The Ferraris, the McLarens, the Mercedes still in the pit lane. And Lance Stroll goes in with a 14.0. Wow. A very good last sector there from Daniel Ricciardo, a 22.3. But Lance Stroll there, a 22.5. Lost a couple of attempts in that last sector. And they're not good lap times from Stroll, Tsunoda, Sargent and Zhou, if you ask me. They definitely need to be getting into the mid-13s. But what we will probably see here, guys, is the track potentially ramping up the longer this session goes on. So as kind of generally is the case in qualifying, it's about being out there last to get the best grip possible. And that, of course, will better your lap times. Joe is barely faster than the SF23. When is Alonso going to retire? Not for a few more years yet, I don't think. He signed at least another year, isn't he? So he's in there next year. He'll be 43? Be 43? Is that right, Alonso, next year? So I reckon he'll go till he's 45. 46 even. He's definitely not showing any signs of slowing down, is he? So as long as he's fit enough, then he can't argue with the performances he's been putting in. Just a shame he hasn't got the car underneath him this year. Aston Martin have provided him. So Hamilton out now, Piastri out, Norris. We're going to get a busy track. Looks like Alonso, yep, the 2 Ferraris. So we're going to get everyone come out on track. It's going to be very busy very quickly, guys. Which team is Newey most likely to sign with for the new series of regulations? I think it's between McLaren and Ferrari, of course, because of the potential of winning a championship with Ferrari. However, of course, that kind of scenario, being an Italian-speaking team, him probably not going to live out in Italy, the work from home remotely might not suit Ferrari. We'll see. McLaren, of course, he's worked with McLaren in the past, and it might be quite a cushy position for him, of course, with McLaren based down in Surrey. So I think they're the two. I think Eddie Jordan, who is Newey's manager, has kind of let slip that Newey has kind of got an offer for McLaren. Zach Brown is very friendly with Adrian Newey as well, spends a lot of time with Adrian Newey outside of F1, so no doubt he's been trying to make use of that relationship he's got with him. So yeah, but here we go. Lap times coming in now, or sector times coming in. Alex Albon, P8, 21.7. He's a tenth faster than Sergio Perez. So Sergio Perez is going to be the first of the big boys to set a time here. Of course, a lot of pressure on Perez's shoulders at the moment. He's not fastest in the first sector. That belongs to Alex Albon. Well, actually, Max Verstappen now. 2 tenths down on his teammate, Max Verstappen. 29.2 for Perez, but Albon following up closely behind. So let's see. Norris is going to get a nice little toe here from Sergio Perez on this lap, that's for sure. But Perez coming across the start-finish line and goes in there with a 13.0. So a good lap from him. Of course, 6 tenths faster, 7 tenths faster pretty much than Daniel Ricciardo. Lando Norris would have got a nice toe from the Red Bull down into T1. But here comes Alex Albon. Let's see how he gets on in the Williams. And he goes with a 13.398, basically a 13.4. So all those drivers who initially first went out very slow off the mark, very slow. So a solid time from the Williams of Alex Albon. That's about a second quicker, 9 tenths faster than his teammate Logan Sargent. Never to be out-qualified by his teammate. So Verstappen, top of the time at 12.3. 7 tenths faster than Perez. A second quicker than Albon, 2 seconds faster than Zhou. So no doubt this is probably the track ramping up and just the nature of how quick these cars are. Piastri there, 7 tenths down on Verstappen, so maybe a mistake from Piastri. Not entirely sure. So the Ferrari's on their lap now as well, and Hamilton also 3 tenths down. So how was Max so fast? How was Max so fast there? Wow. That is unbelievable. We'll see Lando Norris. Lando Norris was fastest in the first sector. Sainz has just taken it off of him. And Lando Norris goes across the line and does a 12.3. So 0.8 seconds, 0.08 seconds, 800ths of a second, less than a tenth separating Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. How about Fernando Alonso? He is coming across the start-finish line now. Let's see where he goes, and he only goes up to 6th, 8 tenths down on Max Verstappen. So I wonder if Max and Lando just had perfect tyre prep. We'll see, or maybe everyone else has kind of just made a slight mistake and error as Ocon goes up to P7. Here comes Bottas. How is Bottas going to do? Obviously gone well here at Barcelona in the past, using that experience to put himself into P7 at the moment. But Leclerc and Sainz, Ferrari with a big upgrade package here this weekend, the biggest out of any of the top teams. Where are they going to go in the top? 12.2, top of the timing sheets for Leclerc, but will Sainz get up there as well? And Sainz does a 12.4, so not a lot separating, just over a tenth separating the top 4 teams at the moment as Nico Hülkenberg goes 5th. So it does indicate really that Piastri, Hamilton and Perez probably made slight mistakes, which has contributed to their lap times being a few tenths down, or about half a second down on the top drivers. But you can see there, George Russell, where is he going to jump up to? And he goes 5th. 0.199 seconds behind Charles Leclerc's time. So, yeah, no doubt Hamilton, Piastri and Perez making slight errors there in their first lap, which is contributed to them being 7 tenths down. But at the moment, we have Logan Sargent, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Magnussen and Zhou Guanyu in the bottom 5. Alex Albon now, after everyone setting their times, initially looked quite good at 13.398, is down in 15th. But look at that, guys. The top 14 or the top 15 drivers, they are separated by only just over a second. So it's very, very tight qualifying now. Of course, Logan Sargent is the slowest at the moment. Let's see if he can improve as he is now on another lap. But just He's improving in the first sector. It's probably not difficult to improve with the time he set, but if the first lap is an indication to go by, we are in for another very, very close qualifying as Lance Stroll and Logan Sargent, incident involving those two impeding. Oh dear. Wouldn't it be ironic if Lance Stroll has impeded Logan Sargent after his error or his issue with Hamilton potentially blocking him, as Ricciardo can only improve to P15, so not looking good for the two two V-carb cars at the moment, as there is 1/1000th of a second separating Tsunoda and Albon as it stands. So they're not looking too good here at the moment. A lot of work to be done for them. Let's see if Logan Sargent can improve. He does, but he's still at the bottom of the timing sheets. 2 temps, nearly 3 temps off of Kevin Magnussen in P19. Just might as well just promote Kimi Antonelli now, guys. Got more of an opportunity. More of an opportunity. So Max only 0.03 off last time. Yeah, Charles Leclerc, well, yeah, 2.2. A 12.2 was the fastest lap we saw last year. So these cars are much, much quicker. As we've seen throughout every race this season, the pole position time has just got quicker and quicker. And yeah, we're already on the pole position time of last year, which was a 12.2, which Max Verstappen got pole position by half a second. So a 12.7 would have got you on the front row last year. And, well, there are 5 cars that are already below that time. But Hamilton, Piastri and Perez definitely need to improve here because, well, with the way the track is ramping up, they might... Will they be vulnerable? I don't know. Could you... Not sure I can see Ricciardo, Albon, Tsunoda, Zhou. I can't see the bottom 6 there improving by 3 temps, 4 temps. I can't see that. So they might... I imagine they'll go out and do another run, but I can't see them gaining that much time. I could be completely wrong and the track is ramping up. But yeah, that's... Considering Ricciardo did a second run, so did Tsunoda, and they barely improved, kind of indicates that... Yeah, I don't think the track is ramping up as they probably would like. But here's Alex Albon. Let's keep an eye out on him as he's... Is he on his outlap? He's on his outlap. So he's the only driver out there. Let's see if he can improve and drag himself up. This would be a good indication of whether the track is ramping up, guys, on with Alex Albon's time, as he will be as he's on a fresh set of soft tyres. So this would be an indication to the other drivers and teams as well. But they haven't got a lot of time to think about it because we have less than 5 minutes of this Q1 session remaining. FIA stewards turn into Stroll and Sargent will be investigated after the session, impeding. Interesting. Not sure I've seen that on the TV coverage yet, but we'll see. Been now safe, to be honest, at 112, you're defo safe. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think the top 5 are definitely safe. Anyone down from Gasly probably needs to go out for another lap, I think. But Albon will be a clear indication here whether or not those drivers in the bottom 6 can improve, or whether the other drivers up above, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Hamilton, etc., down to Perez, don't need to run again. So let's see if Albon does improve here. Of course, needs to make up over a 10th in time on Daniel Ricciardo, who is currently in 15th position. So let's see how he goes. So Perez, Bottas, Piastri, Hamilton, yep, they're all coming out again. So they feel like they're not safe. It doesn't mean they necessarily have to run another lap if the track is not ramping up. But let's see Alex Albon. Is he improving? No, a 21.819. So that yellow indicates that he's actually slower than the time that he previously set. Is he going to be able to improve in the middle sector? DRS open down into turn 10, one of the 2 DRS sections on this circuit, down into turn 10, through turn 11, into the slow right-hander of turn 12, and then it's full throttle. No chicane anymore, thankfully, all the way through turn 13 and 14. Let's see what time he sets. He's quicker in the middle sector, so green, but how much quicker is it than his previous lap time? And he does improve. Interesting. So he improves by about 3 temps there, actually. He did improve by 3 temps and is up into P12. So the likes of Bottas, Stroll and Ocon will need to improve. That is for sure. Otherwise... well, Daniel Ricciardo, Tsunoda still need to obviously get it out there. They haven't looked too good at the moment, but that's not too bad from Alex Albon. So if that's an indication, the track has got quicker by about 3 temps from Alex Albon's lap. So still yet to be decided who is going to go out in this Q1 session, guys. Sargent will get a good drop penalty for impeding here. At least it won't hurt his race. Was it Sargent who impeded? I missed the TV coverage. Was it him impeding on Stroll? Or was it Stroll impeding on Sargent? Magnussen will improve for sure. You'd think so. He qualified well last year, didn't he? But then threw it away on the first lap by making contact and losing his front wing end plate. Ferrari looked great. Yeah, so Ferrari have a big upgrade package, of course. George Russell there in P5, only 2 tenths back. So we'll see. Hamilton, Piastri and Perez, like, they need to pull their finger out, to be honest, and improve. That's definitely not a very good lap to start this qualifying session. 7 tenths off of the top times. I mean, the fact of that they've been slightly pipped by a Haas and an Alpine of all drivers and teams, clearly indicates that those three didn't really have good laps and probably made mistakes somewhere. But Sergio Perez, 21.7 for him as he's heading down through the second sector, and a 28.9 for Sergio Perez. That puts him 5th in the second sector times, but his first sector time was 10th. So not very good from him. Lewis Hamilton at the moment as well is currently down in 16th in Sector 1. So that's definitely an area that he needs to improve. But there we go, Sergio Perez round the last corner. Where is this going to promote him up to? And it promotes him up to 6th. Only just over 2 tenths back from the lap time set by Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton improves dramatically in the first sector. He's gone from 16th in the first sector to 2nd. Much, much better from Lewis Hamilton there as he's approaching Logan Sargent in this middle sector turn 5, where he had that tangle with Lance Stroll. So much better for Lewis and what we expect to see from the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Piastri jumps up to 3rd in the middle sector, but is slow in the first. He's currently slower than an Alpine and a Stake F1 car in the first sector at the moment. So a purple middle sector there from Lewis Hamilton. So he's definitely feeling more comfortable this time around and will definitely promote himself up this grid order as it stands. Piastri there into P6, only 2 tenths back, and a lot of that time, to be honest, by Piastri was lost in the first sector. If he improves, he could have jumped to the top of the timing sheets, just as Lewis Hamilton has done, with a 12.1, and that is the fastest lap time we have seen this weekend thus far. That is faster than last year's pole lap, as Daniel Ricciardo promotes himself to P15. Alonso, pressure on. He could go out here. We could lose the 2 Aston Martins who are currently in the drop zone. Alonso 16th, Stroll 18th. We are going to lose Logan Sargent and Alex Albon as it stands. Tsunoda yet to improve as well. Pressure on with him, but Daniel Ricciardo, if Alonso doesn't improve here, is going to be out, and Alonso does improve. So we've lost Daniel Ricciardo out of this Q1 session as he has just set his lap time and will not improve. His checkered flag is out. Gasly up to P10, so both of the Alpines will be through here. But how about who are we looking at? Lance Stroll. Where is Lance Stroll? He is improving. He improved in the first sector, but he's slow in the second sector. Tsunoda as well. Pressure on here. Lance Stroll only up to 14th. Hulkenberg is on a lap as well as Kevin Magnussen's at risk. But Hulkenberg here could push his teammate out as Tsunoda only goes 16th. So Hulkenberg could push his teammate out here into the drop zone if he improves, and he does. He does, and that is it. We have lost Kevin Magnussen, the 2 VCARB cars of Tsunoda and Ricciardo, and then at the bottom there, a poor showing by the 2 Williams drivers, Albon and Logan Sargent in 19th and 20th, and that is the end of Q1. Oh, Sargent was still setting a lap time, but was unable to improve 3.5 tenths off of his teammate there in P19, and that is 31 races now. Logan Sargent has not been able to out-qualify Alex Albon. And yes, we've lost Stroll by the skin of his teeth. He's through there. Look at that. 0.05 of a second separating Kevin Magnussen and Lance Stroll there. And he nearly went out. But round of applause in chat, guys, for the 2 stake cars. Bottas and Zhou are out of Q1. Very well done for both the Stake F1 cars. A very, very good performance from them. And they'll be obviously looking for a well-needed good performance here this weekend, as it's been a bad year for them thus far. But yeah, the VCARB cars down in 17th and 18th. Albon 19th and 20th. Magnussen in 16th. Hulkenberg there dragging himself up into P12. But, of course, Lewis Hamilton, after a very poor first lap, has been able to put his car up to the top of the timing sheets. 1 tenth quicker than Leclerc, then Verstappen, 2.5 tenths quicker than Norris and Sainz, and 3 tenths quicker than his teammate in P6. But what that has done for Lewis Hamilton, we'll see how that affects him later on in his qualifying session. He has used an extra set of new soft tyres to enable himself to set that lap time. But let's have a look at the sector times, guys, as we've just finished Q1 here. This is obviously important. We have Sainz at the top. Lewis Hamilton was down in 16th place, and then with that lap jumped all the way up to P2. You can see here Piastri, even though he's in P6, even though Piastri is like 5th, he's like 2 and something a bit tenths off of Hamilton's time, was so slow in the first sector. He pretty much lost all that time in the first sector there. You can see a 21.69 compared to Sainz, who've done a 21.4, and Hamilton a 21.5. And yeah, it's all pretty level pegging up here. Hamilton top in sector 2. Slow Hamilton, only 11th in the last sector as well. So Hamilton can improve on that lap time he set. Gasly looks quick in the last sector. So it's a little bit all over the place at the moment in regards to who's fastest in what sector. Verstappen P10 there. So yeah, very, very interesting, guys. Very interesting. And yeah, Q1 over and done with. Q2 coming up. Charles looks very consistent in all sectors. Yes, he is the most consistent out of the top drivers. You'd probably say Norris. I mean, yeah, Leclerc's 4th, 2nd and 3rd in all sectors. So, of course, traffic does play a factor also, guys. Dirty air as well. That could be, even with how slow these cars go round corners, even if a car's going 50 miles an hour, that still throws off a lot of dirty air and can compromise your line and your grip through the corners. So, but yeah, everyone we wanted to get, I suppose everyone we wanted to get through, like the top 8, like the top drivers have got through. Perez also, round of applause for Perez. He isn't out of Q1. Perez isn't out of Q1. Everyone's moving a second except Sargent. Yes, yeah, boy, yeah. 19 cars within 1 second, guys. Except Logan Sargent. Wow. Yeah. Ooh, Alpine getting better, yeah. Logan's still not coping with the pressure at all. No. Piastri, but that means he can push the limits more with the tyres since the problem with Mercedes, yeah. Mercedes, I'm going to do a pro gamer move. Lower tyre blankets temps. Q2 is up in, I think, 2 minutes' time. 2 minutes' time, guys. If you can hit the like and subscribe button, 163 likes. Welcome. Thank you, everyone. If we can get that, could we get to 500 likes? There's 1,600 of you in here. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do. We'll be back for the race tomorrow. It's going to be a good one, qualifying. 2 more sessions to come our way. And yeah, if that is anything to go by in that first session, it's going to be a very, very close one. Only a second separated the top 19 cars. That is unbelievable, especially at this stage of the season as well. You generally tend to see that at the end of the season, not at this stage of the season. So yeah, very, very good and interesting for us fans. Maybe the 70% wasn't delusional. It was higher than 17% in the end, James. So much for those V-carb upgrades. Yeah. They may have just absolutely like messed it up on the setup. I don't know. Really not sure. Piastri had severe traffic through first sector. Yeah, I mean, no doubt. These drivers are going to improve on their times that we've just seen. Of course, as the traffic thins out in each session. So Q1, of course, for these drivers, just about getting through. That's why Hamilton had to use another set of tyres to get through there. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just looking at Hamilton's lap. And Lewis Hamilton lost a lot of time in the last sector last time around, apparently. So that's why he had to do another run. So yeah, those drivers of Piastri, Perez and Hamilton made slight mistakes in their first lap, which is why they were so far off the top of the timing sheets. So how many softs they have? I don't know, Georgian. I don't know. Normally they have, I think Hamilton will still have enough. I think he'll still have probably 2 brand new sets of softs available. So normally what we'll see now from these drivers is that they'll use their used set from the first session in their first run. Then they'll use a brand new set as we are now into Q2. Green light is open. And then they'll use their brand new set. Then they'll do that generally in the last session as well. Unless they've got 2 brand new sets available, then of course they'll use both of them. But yeah, keep an eye out on when they come out the pit lane, guys. Keep an eye out on the number next to the tyre history. That will indicate if they're on a brand new set or not. Of course, if they are, it will be 0. If it isn't, it means they'll be on 3. So you can see here, Lance Stroll is out on a used set of tyres that he used last time around. So this won't be a quick time. So they just get out there to get a banker in, because you just never know. You never know what can happen with red flags, yellow flags, etc. Yeah, calm down, Scaludi. Yeah, we know it was unacceptable by Stroll. He's been given a reprimand. I don't particularly agree with the reprimands. I think you can't. It doesn't matter which driver you are. It doesn't matter the circumstances. You do not use your car. Weapon's a strong word. You don't use your car physically in retaliation to anything out on track, regardless of what happens. Wait until you get out of the car. Like, that's just... Even though these guys look like they're not necessarily... On TV, they're not going that quick. They're still... Even when they're going slow, they're still going 60 miles an hour. You go out on the motorway and stand there and watch cars go past at 60 miles an hour. It's damn quick. It can cause a lot of damage to you. It's... most instances in death. So, yeah. That's a no-go, regardless of which driver you are, what team, what happened prior to it, and I think they need to throw the book at them, really. Don't do that. Nuh-uh. So Stroll retaliated against Hamilton, but Stroll could have made the corner anyway. I don't know why he was so upset. And Leclerc was held up by Norris for a few corners, and then retaliated against Norris and made contact. Luckily, with just like wheels, Stroll gave himself floor damage from driving into Hamilton, and it was all retaliation because they were upset of impeding, basically. So wouldn't be surprised to use them the medium rather than the scrub soft. I don't think so, Warren, because the medium tyre is a race tyre, so they'll be wanting to save those for the race tomorrow. Do I think Stroll will make it out of Q2? No, I don't think he will. Not on the basis of that, just making it through to Q1. I don't think the Aston Martin's got the pace here. To be fair, the Alpines look a bit pacey. I think the Alpines might be able to sneak through here. I'd expect to see Hülkenberg, Bottas and Zhou out. And I'd expect to see the top 9. I'd expect to see, of course, the usual top 8 drivers through of Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes. They look very pacey here today. So I think there's 2 positions up for grabs, and I think one of the Alpines may get it. Maybe both Alpines will. We will see. But Lance Stroll is going to be the first man to set a lap time here on a set of used tyres. Let's see what he's able to set on this set of used ones, and a 13.6. So understandably slow because he's on that used set, and of course the Aston Martin isn't the quickest here this weekend. But everyone else coming out onto the grid now. That's a banker for Lance Stroll. No doubt other drivers will be using a used set. Perez is on new, Gasly's on new, Ocon's on new, Hülkenberg, is he on new? Hülkenberg's on new. So a lot of drivers coming out here on new tyres. So maybe they have new tyres available to them. Of course, the likes of Gasly, Ocon, Alonso probably have got 2 new sets and just want to get through to Q3. That's probably their aim, more so than just getting a banker lap in. We'll see. On the no Stroll, do you think he'll sign with another team, or is he bound to... He's bound to life with Aston, Joel. Once he leaves, once his dad gives up that team, he's out of F1. No other team wants him. Why would they? Why would they? So... Rocket powered Mohawk is going to have Anya. He will. He will. He's not Stroll's biggest fan, is he? So will Hamilton not make it out of Q2 because robust? We don't tolerate that in here, buddy. Does Alonso have potential for pole position? No. Don't see anyone signing Lou Stroll outside his father. No, exactly. But right, here we go, guys. Here we go. Lots of drivers out there. A lot of them all on new tyres. The likes of Hamilton, Verstappen, Norris and Russell are still in the pit lane. We can see Norris coming out now. Let's see if Piastri and Norris, they're on a brand new set. Interesting. They're on brand new sets, so maybe they do have a lot of soft tyres available to them to use in this qualifying session. But let's keep an eye on Esteban Ocon as he is in a flying Alpine at the moment. The Alpine's going quite nicely, it seems, here this weekend, even though they've got kind of issues off of the track. Sergio Perez also, let's keep an eye out on him, of course, wanting to make it through to Q3 for the first time in a few races. Ocon 21.6, that is not bad in the first sector for him. Let's see Sergio Perez, is he able to move himself up the sector time leaderboard? He is into P5 there and is purple thus far in this session, which not a tall order, to be honest, with Lance Stroll's lap time of a 13.6 to only one set at the moment. Lewis Hamilton out on a new set of tyres or used? What about George Russell? Hamilton is out on a used set of tyres, and George Russell is out on a brand new set. Max Verstappen's out on a brand new set as well. So, yeah, potentially Lewis Hamilton doesn't have as many new sets available to him. Maybe he's saving those for Q3, I don't know, we'll see. But anywho, you'd expect those drivers to have enough to get through. So 12.3 for Esteban Ocon there, a good lap time from him, bearing in mind that is only 2 attempts slower than what Hamilton was able to set last time around, and Sergio Perez pretty much matches that time of Lewis Hamilton in Q1 as he does a 12.2. That is a good lap time from Sergio Perez, but no doubt we're going to see this track get quicker and quicker as Valtteri Bottas is fastest in the first sector. Gasly fastest in the sector as well. Leclerc now takes that off of him. Gasly up to the top of the time sheets. He's quicker than a Red Bull. 12.1 from Pierre Gasly there. Good lap time from him. Hulkenberg with a 12.3. Leclerc is flying at the moment. Fastest in the first sector. The top two places in the first sector leaderable times is occupied by the two Ferrari drivers. Verstappen now on his lap, so is Oscar Piastri, so is Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri only just slower than that of Carlos Sainz, but let's see where Bottas goes. Bottas up to 5th, only 3 tenths back from Pierre Gasly there. How about Zhou Guanyu? Stake F1 cars in Q2 for the first time in a long time. I think both of them this season in a full race qualifying, not just a sprint race. But let's see Charles Leclerc. He's coming around the last corner now, and he goes to the top of the timing sheets with a 12.0. A little bit of a delay there in the track map, unfortunately. But Sainz is fastest in the first sector, in the second sector. Let's see where he ends up. Come on, track map, sort it out. Piastri, top of the timing sheets with a 12.0. But this is definitely going to be a sub 111. Or a 112, sorry, by Carlos Sainz, and it is a 111.8, but Verstappen is going quick. He's gone quick in the middle sector, and no doubt will be taking this off of Carlos Sainz provisionally anyway. Lewis Hamilton is on used tyres. We'll see how he gets on. Norris to the top of the timing sheets with 11.8. Apologies for this little lag that we're receiving here in the data and the track map, but Verstappen top with an 11.6 provisionally. That is 2 tenths faster than Lando Norris and of Carlos Sainz. Lewis Hamilton on used tyres only does a 12.6, so that is a clear indication of that you need new rubber on this track. Used tyres, you only really get one run as George Russell goes 4.5 tenths slower than Max Verstappen on a brand new set of tyres there with a 1:12.1. So Hamilton, of course, will have to go again because he's currently 13th, but that was set on a old set of tyres. Everyone else around him, barring Zhou Guanyu, used, and Lance Stroll, ran a used set of tyres. It's no surprise, but Hamilton, Stroll and Zhou are the bottom 3 drivers here in Q2 because they set their initial lap time on used tyres. This is multi-viewer, given multi-viewer. I know it's got, why can't all drivers have one dry tyre, one wet tyre? What, in this? Because the wet tyre just would not survive long enough. So, no, this is Q2. This is qualifying, guys. Qualifying. Big thank you to everyone tuning in. Over 2,000 of you here in this stream. If you get it the like button, it'd be much appreciated. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, for the race. Lance Stroll is out there at the moment on a brand new set of tyres. He's on his out lap. This is Q2. Those drivers have done one lap thus far. Lewis Hamilton was top of the timing sheets in Q1. He did have to use a brand new set, an extra set of brand new tyres to get him through into Q2 though. So that is why he's done his first run on a set of used tyres. But for the first time, I think this season, we've got two Stake F1 cars into Q2, Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas. You can see there him in P11. Not good lap time from Fernando Alonso, guys, there in P12. This is also his home race. I think people are forgetting. Lots of talk about Carlos Sainz, understandably. But Fernando Alonso, it's his home race, a previous winner here. And yeah, the Aston Martin's not looking too good. Let's keep an eye out on Lance Stroll then, because he's the only driver out on track. Can he drag himself out of Q2 and into Q3? It's definitely a tall order for him. He needs a full second improvement on the time he set, which he will do, I think, quite comfortably because of his first lap being on used tyres. But how much pace does that Aston Martin have? Can he get ahead of his teammate? He's on a bit of a run of qualifying ahead of his teammate Fernando Alonso. And he does a 21.6 in the first sector. So we are no doubt going to see green across the board for Lance Stroll. But that only puts him 10th at the moment in the sector leaderboard standings in Sector 1. So as he heads through the fast right-hander of Turn 9, just a flick of the steering wheel through there. Not even a dab of the brakes, I don't think. Down DRS into Turn 10, and he's green, of course, in the second sector as well, 28.8. So that's actually, funny enough, faster than Leclerc's second sector time. He's faster than Leclerc's second sector time. So Leclerc has a lot of improvement to make in the second sector, that's for sure. But here we go, Lance Stroll, where can he drag himself up to on a fresh set of new tyres? On a fresh set of tyres, and he only puts himself 10th. And that's 400 thousandths of a second quicker than Esteban Ocon. So Lance Stroll at severe risk here. You would expect only one driver needs to improve, and you would think Lewis Hamilton, who is now on a brand new set of tyres, will at least be that driver to force Lance Stroll down into the drop zone. Of course, Fernando Alonso, is he coming out for another lap? He is indeed. So his teammate could potentially do that and knock Lance Stroll out of this Q2 session, which I think we kind of expect to see. But we are seeing Gasly back out there. We're seeing Perez come back out as well. He's vulnerable in P8. We'll see if the likes of Verstappen, Norris, Sainz, Piastri and Leclerc decide to come back out here. George Russell is coming back out in P6, so he doesn't feel particularly safe. Piastri looks like he's icon. He's trudging down the pit lane as well. But Norris, Verstappen, Sainz and Leclerc staying in the pit lane. So they feel comfortable that no one is going to be able to push them down into the drop zone, which I think so. I don't see Ocon, Bottas, Alonso and Zhou Guanyu, all of those drivers below them, improving to budge them down into Q2, out of this session and not into Q3. So let's see. So Bottas on a flying lap now. Zhou starting his lap. Also Hamilton's on his lap. So let's keep an eye on Hamilton's times. Down in 14th position at the moment. He needs to improve. We know that he can do it. He did it in Q1 and it's a 21.456. That is good. That is a very good lap time from him. That is literally half a tenth off of Carlos Sainz's time in the first sector. It's actually faster than Verstappen in the first sector for Lewis Hamilton, as Zhou Guanyu does a 21.68, so 2 tenths off of Hamilton there. That is a slight improvement for Zhou. He's going to be improving on his time, but of course needs to do a lot here to try and drag himself out of Q3, out of Q2 into Q3. It'd be amazing if he can do that. An absolute miracle in that Stake F1 car. It's good enough that in Q2. Hamilton, a 28.677 for him. That's dragged him further up as well. So this is going to be a very good lap time from Hamilton on a fresh set of tyres. He definitely has it in him to fight for, I think, potentially this pole position today. We'll see how quick this lap time is, though, in Q2. And that puts him into P2. Hamilton, on a fresh set of new tyres, as he did in Q1, drags himself up the standings into P2. Well, I initially predicted today, guys, that Hamilton will start on the front row of this grid. I didn't predict pole, I said front row of this grid, and I think he's definitely on course for that today. I'm just over a tenth back from Max Verstappen. George Russell is out there again, and let's see how he gets on a fresh set of tyres as Ocon pushes Alonso down. So Sergio Perez is now the driver at risk. A 21.5 for him. Russell goes fastest out of anyone in the first sector with a 21.3. But Sergio Perez is improving on his lap time, guys. And, well, all he needs to do is see this home and he will comfortably get himself out of this Q2 session. He is currently in the drop zone. as Gasly goes into P7. So the two Alpines looking to make their way into Q3 at the moment, as Perez does get himself through and pushes himself into P7, but comfortably slower than the top 6 cars as it stands. George Russell, good in the second, not so good in the second sector, slightly slower than his teammates, but this will be an improvement for George Russell and comfortably get him out. Fernando Alonso, can he drag himself out of the bottom 5? And he doesn't. He only goes 11th. So George Russell doesn't need to set this lap time, but he does regardless. And he jumps up to P3. The two Mercedes looking strong here. Just a couple of hundredths behind his teammate Lewis Hamilton. And that is Q2 over and done with. We have two Alpines in P9 and P10 getting through to Q3, I think, for the second week in a row. Is it second week in a row? I definitely remember seeing them getting through to Q3 very recently. So very, very good from the Alpines. Fernando Alonso in P11, not able to drag himself at his home circuit into Q3. Bottas in P12. Good drive and good performance for that Stake F1 car of Valtteri Bottas in P12. That's the highest starting position I think they've had this year in a race. Of course, in the sprint race, they did drag themselves into technically Q3 at China. It was, but yes, that's a good performance from him. Hulkenberg in P13, out-qualifying his teammate once again, as we've seen throughout the course of this season. Lance Stroll in 14th and Zhou Guanyu in 15th. But the two Stake F1 cars, the fact they're in Q2 in the first place is a great drive from them. But yes, we are on for a very, very good qualifying, guys. Pole position, still all to play for. Of course, Max is top and understandably probably still the man to beat, but it's very close up there. Very, very close. Norris and the Ferrari stayed in the pit. Yes, Norris and both Ferraris stayed in the pit lane. Piastri did come out and do an outlap, but then he came into the pit because he knew that pretty quickly he wasn't going to need an extra lap to improve. So hopefully everyone has fresh tyres. I think so. I think they do. Thanks, Christina. Yeah, if you've been enjoying this stream, guys, please hit the like button. Over 2,000 of you here in this stream. If you can hit the like button, get this stream to over 500 likes, it's just a bit of an indication of you guys enjoying this stream. And if you want to subscribe, please do. We do all of these watch along, as many sessions as I can. I always make the qualifying and the races. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, of course, for the race. We've got a triple header now here at Barcelona. Then we've got a sprint race weekend next week at Red Bull Ring. And then we've got Silverstone rounding off the triple header. I'll be doing the watch-alongs, and of course I do my sim racing content in between. So let's get that number at the top right-hand side of your screen there, up to, let's get it close to 26,000. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. The Mercs seem to have better pace than the McLarens. Yes, well, this is going to be essential for the Mercedes because they've always gone very well here. And look, Verstappen's quick, of course, even if Verstappen gets pole. The difference is that Verstappen doesn't have his rear gunner in Perez at the moment. Perez needs to push his way up the grid. Can he do it? Seems to be a little bit off the pace of the top 7 drivers. But Verstappen's up front. The likes of Mercedes, the likes of McLaren, Ferrari, they can deploy an undercut. They can try something different to throw off Verstappen. Now, Montreal, if it was a dry race, they probably would have, I think those teams would have done that and utilised that a bit more. But because of how it was changing conditions, that wasn't utilised. But in dry conditions, they definitely can. But the Ferraris are good. We know that this Sainz is gone well here. It's his home circuit. He always brings out a bit extra at this circuit, as most drivers do at their home race. Charles Leclerc, we know, is very quick in qualifying. Lando Norris as well has just been comfortably getting through. So, yeah. Let's see. It's going to be another exciting qualifying, and can't pick it really. Can't pick it. Well, we think Verstappen, don't we? Probably, but I'm still going for my prediction that Hamilton's going to be on the front row. If he'll be pole position or not, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Russell using 2 sets of Q2, Hamilton using 2 sets of Q1. The Merc boys are all over on their runs. Have they got no brand new sets available, Connor? I thought they had at least one more. So. They're in the pits because they need to change tyres. Yeah, yeah. Anyone except Max. Hey, Michael. Good to see you. Yeah, welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Perez. Yes. I keep forgetting this. Perez has a 3-place grid penalty. So, yeah, Max definitely won't have a rear gunner tomorrow. Not that he necessarily needs it, but he will do eventually with how like the pace is becoming closer and closer, especially over race pace as well. So, they have 2 sets available still, you think, oh, okay, well, if they have, yeah, then that's fine, isn't it? So, but lots of drivers making little mistakes here at Barcelona, which really, really costs you time. Really does cost you time, is what I'm seeing on the TV coverage right now. What if Gasly's still racing Toro Rosso? Yeah. Why the penalty? No, it was last week at Montreal. He crashed, didn't he? And he made his way back to the pit lane with a broken rear wing. Red Bull admitted that they knew about, they knew that they didn't want him to pull over because they didn't want to bring out a safety car, and they deemed that to be against the rules, and like knowingly bringing a car back or leaving a car out on the circuit that was kind of irreparably damaged. And yeah, they didn't ask him to pull over. I saw people try and defend like Perez's decision and Red Bull's decision with like Lewis Hamilton's tyre blowout at Silverstone a few years ago and so forth. The difference between punctures is that punctures can be replaced. Tyre blowouts, like, they can be replaced. They do leave debris, but if you can make it back to the pit lane, you can replace that tyre. Rear wings, you can't. Like, his rear wing was hanging off. It was putting a lot of carbon fibre over the circuit, which is a lot more damaging, a lot more dangerous than just the rubber of a tyre. So, yeah, that's why they should have. And you can't repair a rear wing in the pit lane anymore. You can't do that. So only front wings you can. So they should have got him to pull over, but they didn't, and that's why he's been issued a 3-place grid penalty. Ferrari's big changes not showing that much changes as expected. We still yet to see it, Ash. We're still yet to see it. It's been a very big upgrade package. It does look like the car's a little bit more balanced, but we'll see if it's made an improvement over a single lap. It's not always a single lap. It's not always the single lap improvement that they're looking for. Sometimes it's over the course of a race distance. So as long as they're like close enough in qualifying. Who's the best technician? Adrian Newey, James Anderson. Adrian Newey probably still the best. Hey, Beckery. There's a difference between final laps and multiple laps from the ends. Yeah, do you think Carlos has the opportunity to get pole, or is he just going to be front row realistically? He's got I still think any of the top 7 have an opportunity of getting pole position here. It's not clear cut anymore. It's not clear cut. And yes, I'm removing Perez from the equation here of pole position. He's just not up to the standard of Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell, Norris, Sainz, Piastri, Leclerc over a single lap, especially. So. Imagine if Merc just skipped the year and half zero pods concept. Could have been front run last year. Yeah, I mean, they've definitely been a year behind, haven't they, in development? Seems to be that they're doing better now. Barcelona's always been a good circuit for them. So they've always gone well here. Hamilton's always had good success here. So we'll see if they're good enough at Red Bull Ring, which is a circuit they've struggled at in the previous years, and Silverstone as well. But yeah, the fact of it, I think everyone was expecting Red Bull just to completely run away with this. Now, that's not to say Max Verstappen still might not qualify. He still might run away with it in qualifying. We'll see. But it's not totally dominant that we expected to see. Everyone was going, normal service will be resumed this weekend at Barcelona. It's a perfect circuit for Red Bull. That may still be the case, but I don't think we've really seen that to back up that those faults. So... yeah, so Perez is out first. Perez out first. He's on a used set of tyres, guys. So only one new set available to him. So this will not be a quick time. We'll see if others are on a brand new set, if they have 2 brand new sets available. I imagine they do, because Verstappen, Piastri, and the likes of those didn't run in Q2. They only did 1 lap. But Perez doesn't have a brand new set available to him. Verstappen is on a brand new set. Piastri is on the set that he used in Q2, so they are slightly scrubbed. They're not completely used, but they will be scrubbed, so don't expect him to go to the top of the timing sheets on that set of tyres. Ocon's on used, Gasly's on used, Sainz is on new tyres. Let's see, Leclerc's coming out as well. I imagine he'll be on new tyres. We'll see what if the Mercedes have both got new tyres available to them. Does Gasly have the lighter chassis? I'm not entirely sure about Alpine. To be completely honest with you, I haven't been paying too much attention to Alpine's like tech and their upgrades. Yeah, I'm like, the drama is more so off the circuit rather than what has been going on the circuit and what's been going into their cars. But clearly they've made steps forward, because Why is it showing Leclerc's on wet tyres? Are you drunk, Data? Why is it showing Leclerc's on wet tyres? What's going on there? I can confirm from TV coverage, Leclerc is not on wet tyres. just so everyone's aware. I'm sure that will sort itself out. I'm sure it will. But yeah. There we go. It sorted itself out. Ferrari made the same mistake they did last week, didn't they? Or at Montreal. But let's see what Perez does on a set of used tyres. We know that you do need that full grip of a set of tyres to get the most out of this circuit. And Perez is going to come across the line and do a 1:13.0. So yeah, you can see just that the drop-off in the soft tyre in quali pace anyway is very big, very big. Right, Max Verstappen, first driver out there. The two Mercedes drivers are on brand new tyres available to them as well. So let's see what Max can do. Fastest in the first sector, 21.5. That is still only 6th fastest that we've seen today in sector 1. But where Max seems to be making up the time is in the middle sector and the last sector. Sainz, 21.33. That is the fastest we've seen out of anyone today. Of course, they're putting it all on the line here, as that's a 28.5 for Verstappen. On the contrary, he has gone fastest in the second sector out of anyone today. Charles Leclerc will be moving out of the way to let Verstappen through as he heads through turn 13. It's full throttle all the way out here in these modern F1 cars through the fast right-hander of turn 14, and he comes across the finish line. And what time does he set? He sets a 1:11.6, a 21.55. He's fastest in the second and third sector. But will that be enough for Max Verstappen today? Will the nature of him being slower in that first sector quite considerably than the rest of the drivers around him put him at a compromise? Ocon on used tyres goes ahead of Sergio Perez. Carlos Sainz, 2.5 tenths back from Max Verstappen at his home circuit as Hamilton and Russell start their laps. Where does Oscar Piastri go? He goes third fastest with a 12.5. That is on those scrubbed set of tyres. So Oscar Piastri still yet to improve on a brand new set. How about Lando Norris? How is he getting on? A 10th down on Carlos Sainz. He is ahead of Max Verstappen's first sector time though, and he's fastest in the second sector. So Lando Norris here is all about the last sector. He needs to improve. He's currently 7th fastest in the last sector today thus far. Has he got enough in it? Has he got enough through these last couple of corners in this McLaren to drag him to the top of the timing sheets and get provisional pole position away from Max Verstappen and put himself at least on the front row? And he's second, 1/10, just over a 10th back from Lando Norris. George Russell and Hamilton also flying at the moment in this, both improving on their sector times. George Russell slightly faster in the first sector at the moment. While they're not set purple, they are improving. And keep an eye out on the Mercedes drivers here, guys, because they are definitely going to trouble Max Verstappen, Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz at the top of these timing sheets. And Hamilton goes third fastest, 1.5 tenths back from Verstappen, but Russell was improving and he goes 4th. Very, very close there at the top of the timing sheets as Verstappen is currently on provisional pole from Lando Norris in P2. Piastri had his lap time deleted for track limits, but that was because, well, it doesn't really matter. He's on a set of used tyres anyway. But Verstappen currently fastest with a 1:11.6. Not making up the time in the first sector, but he is gaining in the second and third sectors. He is fastest in the second and third sector. Hamilton and Russell, the Mercedes are a very quick all round, to be honest with you. The Mercedes looks very well balanced, guys, which bodes well for the race tomorrow. As we'll have a look at the sector times here. Here we go. One more run available for these drivers. This is the sector times, and you can see here that Max Verstappen is quite considerably slower, 2 tenths down on Sainz, Russell in the first sector, but he makes it all back up in the second and third sector, being the fastest out of everyone there. That is the difference at the moment. But look at the Mercedes, not a lot to separate both drivers, and not a lot to separate them from the top of the timing sheets as well in regards to those sector times. So when it comes to a race scenario tomorrow, that bodes very well for the Mercedes drivers. And at the moment, Lewis Hamilton has just the better of George Russell, and we're talking not a lot, guys. We're talking not a lot here, as it is at the moment, only 0.02 of a second separating the two Mercedes drivers. But Lando Norris is going to be lining up provisionally alongside Max Verstappen on that front row. Still a lot to play for here at the end. Oscar Piastri still yet to set a official time. He did use a used set of tyres in that first run, so expect him to drag himself further up the leaderboard. But look how tight it is between the top 6 guys. The top 6 are separated by 2.5 tenths. Not a lot whatsoever, not a lot. That is the fine margins here. One slight mistake can be the difference between you being on pole position or on the front row and then starting 6th or 7th. So Perez will still improve. Also, I do expect him to improve. He'll be on new tyres, as will Oscar Piastri. So still a lot to play for here in this last run in Q3, sorry. With how close they are to Verstappen, you doubt it. Mercedes actually being consistent for once. Yeah. Mercedes come back. Potentially, what's up with Piastri? He's only done a set... he's only done one run on a set of used tyres, and that lap was deleted. So, yeah, it wouldn't have put him... It only would have put him 7th anyway. So... Hang on. I think George is reporting that Hamilton went too slow on his outlap. We'll see. We'll see. Right, here we go, guys. Here we go. Qualifying. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We much appreciate it. We are back here tomorrow for the race. But first, we have one more lap in this Q3, in this qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix. Who is going to be on pole position tomorrow? At the moment, provisionally, it is Max Verstappen, just from Lando Norris, just over a tenth from the McLaren. Then very, very close behind, only 0.02 of a second separating the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton from that front row, which I did predict that Lewis would be on today, or be on for tomorrow. George Russell slightly behind as well in P4. Sainz and Leclerc need to improve those two Ferraris. Of course, Sainz racing at his home circuit. Gasly and Ocon doing well, but you do probably expect that Piastri and Perez, on a brand new set of soft tyres this time around, will push the two Alpines down into 9th and 10th position. But still all to play for. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Silver Arrows are back in business. Potentially, we'll see. But even, I think, if the Mercedes qualify, if the grid is as it is now, Hamilton 3rd, Russell 4th, that's the two Mercedes on the second row. That's very, very good for the Mercedes. Gives them a lot of opportunities in regards to strategy also, with two cars there. But yes, thank you for the subs coming in. Here we go. Perez across the start-finish line. He is heading through the first sector now. Let's see how he gets on. Likewise, Oscar Piastri. Gasly will be having to move out of the way for Sergio Perez. Perez does have a free-place grid drop penalty tomorrow, guys. So wherever he qualifies today, take away 3 positions, and that is where he will be starting. So Perez through the first sector, 21.494. That's much better from him. That's actually slightly faster than Max Verstappen's first sector time on his current provisional pole lap. Oscar Piastri does slightly quicker than Sergio Perez as well. The McLaren's looking solid, like the Mercedes, kind of across the board. Oscar Piastri needs to improve in the last sector though, so we'll keep an eye out on him. Sergio Perez, 28.7 in the middle sector, not that quick, much slower than everyone else ahead of him at the moment. Getting him past his teammate, and conveniently will be giving his teammate a tow here as they head down into the first corner. So that's timed out perfectly for the Red Bull team, as Max Verstappen will be getting a nice long tow by Perez down into the first sector here. And there's a yellow flag briefly brought out, but seems to be okay. Maybe that might have been a wiggle from Oscar Piastri. We'll see how he gets on. But Max Verstappen, as we've seen in the past, Imola, where he got a tow from Nico Hülkenberg, made the difference. Is it going to be the same here with his teammate providing him a tow? Let's see. Oscar Piastri did make a mistake and is into the pit lane, so that's why that yellow flag came out briefly. He'll be starting at least 9th place with Sergio Perez's potential with that free-place grid penalty. So Sergio Perez did a 1:12.0, not that quick. Max Verstappen, a 21:3.69. That tow has dragged him up to the top of the Sector 1 leaderboard time. And he's massively important for him because that's where he's been slow. Of course, quickest at the moment in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Carlos Sainz improves and goes just behind Max Verstappen. How about Charles Leclerc? He goes second ahead of his teammate, and they can't take Max Verstappen off of pole position at the moment as Verstappen is improving faster in the second sector purple. He is going to improve on this lap time. Can the Mercedes remove Max Verstappen from pole position? Can Lando Norris do it? They're the only drivers left out there who can do it, but Max Verstappen improves by 2 tenths and does an 11.4. So Lando Norris green in the first sector. He's improving. He's purple in the second sector. The McLaren of Lando Norris. He could steal pole position away here from the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. It's all about the last sector. The two Mercedes are going pretty well. George Russell's made a mistake and is probably not going to improve on his lap time as he's yellow in the middle sector. But it's all about this last corner from Lando Norris. Can he steal pole position away from Max Verstappen? He has! Provisionally, Lando Norris is on pole position, but can Hamilton steal it at the end? Are we going to get a Hamilton at all British front row? No, Hamilton in P3, George Russell in P4. It's a second row for Hamilton and Russell and Mercedes, but Lando Norris is pole position for tomorrow at the Spanish Grand Prix. At the end there, 200ths of a second from the McLaren driver. An unbelievable lap from Lando Norris. It was all about that middle sector without the assistance of a toe. Max Verstappen. Oh, what a qualifying session there, guys. Lando. What a qualifying session there right at the end. The two Ferrari drivers on the third row, 3.5 tenths back from Lando Norris. Gasly in P7, Sergio Perez only able to qualify in P8. He will be starting 11th tomorrow on the grid, and that will definitely not help Max Verstappen there, who will be lining up on the front row for the second race in a row. Second position, of course, he won last time out at Montreal. Lando Norris potentially could have won that race at Montreal, but he is definitely, no pun intended, in pole position for tomorrow. It's a very long run, though, down into turn 1. One of the longest runs on the calendar from the start grid down into turn 1. So sometimes P1 is great, but maybe you necessarily don't want to be there. The two Mercedes will be in a nice position. They'll be thinking about a nice start tomorrow. Lewis Hamilton finally gets a decent qualifying position. Maybe his tyres were up to temperature, or his tyre blankets were up to temperature. Just saying. And he's up into P3. George Russell, even though he had the assistance of a toe, if you're talking about favouritism in a team, well, that qualifying is a clear example of it, with Hamilton giving George Russell a toe in both laps there in Q3, and George Russell still wasn't able to get ahead of Lewis Hamilton. But, wow, what a great qualifying session there. Oscar Piastri, unfortunately, not able to match his teammate and bring that car to the top of the timing sheets. He did have an issue through turn 12, which caused him to bow out of his qualifying lap. So he will be starting at least 9th tomorrow. A good result for the two Alpines in P7. Ocon will be promoted to P8 because of Perez's grid place penalty. But wow. And my prediction was so close. Those of you who voted McLaren to be on pole position, well done. You were correct. Lando Norris on pole position. Max Verstappen second, 200 separating them. But what a lap. The McLaren is truly there, guys. It is truly there. It's truly a great car. Woo. Norris driving very good this year. Yes. Not quite Lewis front row, but close. Yeah, I know. I was close. What a session that was. Amazing. Yeah. Qualifying's really good, and I think we're in store for a very good race tomorrow as well. I still don't know what the weather forecast is for tomorrow. We'll see. I think is it rain tomorrow, guys? I'm not sure. But yeah, look, we've seen Max. We know how good he is. McLaren need to really be on top of it with their strategy. But look, the Mercedes, if you're a Mercedes fan, the Mercedes looks very well balanced across all sectors. Max Verstappen in qualifying trim looks to be a little bit off the pace slightly in the first sector. So that is interesting, considering I swear I heard that he was fastest in the speed traps down into the first corner. So yeah, maybe he's suffering there because he's got less downforce. I really don't know what they've done, obviously, kind of what they've decided in regards to setup there, but it's kind of flipped on its head from what we saw in practice, where Max was very quick in the first sector, and then he's now not the slowest, but without that toe, it wouldn't have been as quick. And I don't think Lando got that toe into the first corner either. So yeah, Max Verstappen there, 200ths back. Probably still would have got pole, still probably would have been in line up on the second row if he didn't get that toe, because Hamilton and Russell were 3/10ths back. But yeah, really close, and it's going to be a good race tomorrow. Good race. Why Ferrari? Why? Well, it's you say why Ferrari? Why? This is the state of F1 at the moment, and this is a very good state of F1. Leclerc is less than half a tenth from Hamilton in P3. He's 200ths, just under 300ths of a second back from George Russell. George Russell is 2,000ths of a second back from his teammate in P3. Sainz is 5,000ths of a second back from his teammate Leclerc, he's just over 300ths of a second back from Hamilton. Like, you're talking less than a tenth of a second between Hamilton, the two Mercedes and the two Ferraris there. Okay, yes, Norris and Verstappen ahead of the game here on that lap. This is how tight it is. This is what Hamilton, in particular, as a Hamilton fan, you can't set your car up for just the race anymore, because you'll start 7th or 8th on the grid. Piastri, of course, could have easily put a spanner in the works there for the two Mercedes and the Ferraris by putting his car up into potentially front row or in between those drivers. So it's so the finest of margins now can be the difference between you gaining 5 positions or losing 5 positions. That is, yeah. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. So, but still all to play for tomorrow. Can we talk about race pace? Anyone, please? Yeah. So race pace wise, I've seen that McLaren are good. I've seen that Mercedes are good. To be honest, I don't entirely know about Red Bull. I imagine they're good as well. I think it's pretty level playing, to be honest. I don't think anyone's like amazingly that much better. I don't know what the tyre allocation is for tomorrow. I think the weather we could see a Montreal-esque race tomorrow from the weather report that I saw at the start of the week. So yeah. Can I show the sector times? Yeah, so these are the final sector times, guys. For your reference, so you can see here Carlos Sainz was the fastest in the first sector, but the two Ferraris lost a lot of time in the second and third sector. So yeah, that's where the difference was for those two. The Mercedes, look, it's very tight up there between the top 7 drivers, really. Well, the top 8 drivers, it's very, very close. Look, Hamilton just over a tenth back from Carlos Sainz. George Russell, who had the toe. Those drivers, Sainz, Russell and Verstappen, down into the first sector, had toes. Norris didn't have a toe. So, yeah, Norris is like the quickest, really, you would say, in the first sector on pace alone, with Leclerc and Hamilton just behind. Norris there, mega in the middle sector. A very good last sector as well. That's where he won pole position today. And the Mercedes the Mercedes look very well balanced across all sectors. But Piastri, yeah, really struggled today. Look, that last sector there, look, not good enough. Not good enough, really, for him in the middle and last sector. That's where he struggled. The last sector in particular, he made that mistake in turn 12 or through turn 12 to turn 13, and he had to bow out of the lap. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one tomorrow. It's going to be a very, very good one tomorrow. And if you're a Lewis fan, hopefully you see a more positive Lewis Hamilton. I'd be interested to hear what his comments are. Yet to be interviewed. But yeah, for the first time, well, third time this season, I think he's qualified ahead of George Russell. I think. The third time? It was something like 7-2, I think, was the... I can't remember what the results were, but yeah, George Russell has been beating him quite comfortably. So, Zach is crying, yeah. So, yeah, we'll be live again tomorrow, guys. We'll be live again tomorrow before the race starts. I might go live an hour before, 45 minutes before, so be sure to hit that bell. Big cheers for Lewis Hamilton as he comes onto the podium to be interviewed. Let's see what he's got to say. We have some hope for tomorrow, yeah. Lewis saying he's really happy. But great drive from Lando Norris, yeah. Race pace, Red Bull were 2 tenths up on Ferrari and McLaren. Merc 2 tenths further back, but not enough to make overtakes likely. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the difference is that you don't know what fuel loads they're running also as well, Warren. We never know that. So, we'll see. We'll see. Thanks, yeah, thanks, everyone. Glad you enjoyed it. Just teammates will be important tomorrow, Carl. I agree. The fact that the 2 Mercedes have 2 cars in there. The thing is, George Russell, we know he has a personal rivalry with Lewis Hamilton and wants to beat him. So that's going to be an interesting one tomorrow, especially if Lewis is ahead of George. You know George could be on the radio going, I'm quicker. Let me buy. Let me buy. Let me buy. You know he's going to be. So that's going to be a very intriguing one tomorrow between the 2 Mercedes teammates. Hopefully they don't trip over each other because they potentially have an opportunity of winning this race tomorrow. If they can work together, at least force Norris and force Verstappen into something. But they'll let George undercut Lewis tomorrow. Oh, I know, Warren. I'm intrigued to see how it plays out. I'm intrigued. So Lando's just confirming he can defeat Max. Yeah, definitely. The McLaren is a really good car now. It is a really good car, especially in Lando's hands. Piastri still a lot. I'm a big fan of Piastri. He needs to improve. That's not a great performance from him in qualifying. He's fumbled it massively there. And of course, his race pace needs to be improved. His tyre management, especially to get on the level of Lando. Lando is definitely shining through at the moment compared to his teammate. Yeah, no race, Petro. Guys, you guys have enjoyed it. It was a crazy end to the qualifying, wasn't it? Crazy ends. And look, we have a competition. Max may still win tomorrow. But as long as they're made to fight for it, as long as Red Bull and Max are made to fight for it, and it's interesting, and it's not won by 20 plus seconds, that's what we want. That's all we can ask for, really. So I want it to be interesting. I think we all do as fans. George will not give way for Lewis, which will be their downfall for this year, Lewis. Yeah, that'll be the thing, Carl. That'll be how that dynamic plays out tomorrow is going to be very, very intriguing. Very intriguing. Norris Bakary, safety cars will decide tomorrow's race. Potentially, yeah. I mean, we've seen it decide races previously, haven't we? So, Barcelona does have safety cars in the past. We're not numb to safety cars at Barcelona. If there is bad weather tomorrow, I don't know. Barcelona, the Catalunya circuit. Weather report is what I want. I'm looking at the weather for tomorrow for Barcelona, the circuit, and tonight is cloudy with rain and a drizzle late. What's it saying for tomorrow? Rain and drizzle tomorrow, 84%. Oh, tomorrow is going to be a Montreal-esque race. Interesting. Probability of precipitation, 84%. Wind will be 7 miles per hour. And probability of thunderstorms is 17%. So let's have a look at the afternoon one. Yeah, so it may start a wet race and then dry out. Interesting. Just joined. Is this the grid confirmed with Perez? Yeah, so Perez will... this is without Perez's penalty. So Perez will start 11th tomorrow. So that means that Piastri... Ocon... Well, no, sorry. Yeah, we'll start 11th. Ocon, Piastri and Alonso will move up 1 position each. So... Stuffeyy gave Norris a massive L last time, to be honest. He was well... yes, he was. Yeah, that McLaren... failed to bring him in. They either failed. I don't know if they failed to bring him in, or it was just like unfortunate timing. At the time, I thought it was unfortunate timing, but then when you look back on it, they could have maybe gambled on him coming into the pits, and that there would be a safety car. So yeah, it was kind of a bit of a tough one, but yeah, ultimately that safety car was poor timing, considering how far ahead Lando was pulling out of a gap. So, what's my prediction tomorrow, Clousy? It's getting even harder for these predictions. I still, and I predicted at the start of this week, I still think Hamilton's going to put in a great performance this weekend. He has done thus far by being third on the grid. There's something that still sits with me, especially if we have a bit of intermittent weather tomorrow. I think Lewis is going to win this race tomorrow. There's something that just like, I don't know. I think Lewis will win the race tomorrow. I think he will. I think the top three will be the top three. I do. In what order? I'm not sure. But Norris is definitely on form at the moment. We know Verstappen's on form as well. So I think we're on for a good race tomorrow regardless of conditions. So yeah, I mean, it could be an exciting Barcelona Grand Prix, which it very rarely is, isn't it? So strategy as well is going to be key. We've seen that play out in the last few races, strategy. So that's going to be important. It's always been very important at Barcelona. So yeah, we'll see what it has in store for us tomorrow. That'll be a victory before July the 4th. Lando is tidy in the rain as well. Lando is one of the best drivers in the rain, Stem. Yeah, Mitchell. Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's very good in the rain. Don't think so. Russell won't let Hamilton win. This is my problem, Akano, and that's what I'm worried about down into turn 1 tomorrow. I could see there being contact between Russell and Hamilton. Not from Hamilton's side, but from Russell's side. He wasn't happy, supposedly, about the slow outlap of Lewis on the first quali run. I need to go back and see exactly what was said. I kind of caught the end of it, but he was moaning about the outlap of Lewis, very slow one, even though Lewis was giving Russell the toe and gave him the toe both times. So, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see. Got Lando, Lewis, then Max. Yeah, look, I'd love to see, of course, someone other than Max win, of course. But I've always said, if Max wins, as long as it's a close fight and there's intrigue throughout the whole race like we had at Montreal last week. Of course, he eventually won it by like 6 seconds, but it was such an interesting race. Sorry, last time out. Like, that's what you want. That's what I want. Same as like Imola as well. I don't want to see any driver win by 20 plus 30 seconds, you know? You got to try TF, yeah. The team statisticians tomorrow now have AI. Yeah. What about Perez? Where will he finish tomorrow? I don't know. You can't predict with Perez now, can you? You can't predict what he's going to do. I mean, that's poor, really, from Perez. Because on a level, I mean, he's slower than an Alpine. 2 tenths slower than an Alpine. He's barely faster than Ocon in P9. That's the man you signed for an extra 2 years? Like, that just shows how poor Perez is as a driver in this car. Like, the fact of it, he's split the 2 Alpines. So, yeah. Free place grid penalty tomorrow as well. It's going to be a tough one. We know Perez struggles to overtake as well. He's not really an overtaker. He overtakes people in the pit lane. If you look at Perez when he was... anytime he's tried to really force the issue in a Red Bull car, it's not like Max where he's got that raw pace to overtake. He causes incidents, he has to lunge. And when he won his Red Bull seat, he didn't make many great overtakes. It was because he was able to take his tyres longer and overtake drivers in the pit lane under strategy. So, yeah. I don't expect a lot from Perez tomorrow. Unless like DRS is really powerful here tomorrow and he's able to just breeze past the likes of the 2 Alpines. But I don't see him catching up to Piastri that quick or up to the McLarens anyway. Perez already won for this season. He got an extension. That's true. The best thing Perez made distance between... That happens to him every time he have the contract in his arse. Performs very well. Once he gets a new contract, he relaxes and bad performs. Yeah. Yeah, but he's only on a 1+1 year deal. So they could remove him after next year. They could remove him. But, I mean, even if you've hired Perez to to keep Verstappen happy. That's probably part of the reason, not the sole reason, because he brings in a shed load of cash. I think you have to look at that and go, we can't even if they put no value on the Constructors' Championship, right, Red Bull, you can't sit there and go, well, that man's going to help Verstappen win a Drivers' World Championship. Like, he's not the way he's performing at the moment. So praying for a headwind, yeah. Qualifying is over and done with, Study. Yes, it is. This is, your eyes are not deceiving you. Lando Norris is on pole position for tomorrow with Max Verstappen in P2. The two Mercedes are lining up alongside each other on the second row of the grid. Then on the third row, we have the two Ferraris. Perez will be given a free-place grid penalty tomorrow, so he will be starting from 11th. So that does mean that on the fifth row of the grid, the two Alpines will be lining up alongside each other. So we know there's no love lost between Gasly and Ocon. That could bring out an early safety car, couldn't it, at the start of the race? Piastri will be starting in 9th. We have Alonso move up a position, and then in 10th, and then we'll have Perez starting 11th. Bottas in 12th. Good performance from him. The highest starting position of the Stake F1 team this year in a full race. The sprint race in China, they did start in the top 10, but that's, of course, different. Hulkenberg P13, Stroll 14th, Zhou 15th, Magnussen 16th. Poor weekend for the two VCARB cars, Tsunoda and Ricciardo in 17th and 18th. And then the two Williams drivers in 19th and 20th. And yeah, Logan Sargent about 4 tenths, I think it was, 3.5 tenths back of Alex Albon. Still yet to out-qualify his teammates. So maybe see me tomorrow. What do you mean maybe? Of course you will, Mark. You'll be here. You'll be here, buddy. Why is Perez been given a penalty? This is a carryover from Montreal, Canada, where he was left out rather than retired the car because it was not in a safe manner to bring it back to the pit lane where his rear wing was damaged. So let's see what the drivers have to say. Yeah, balanced Mercedes, that's very good for Hamilton. Very good, Bevo, yeah. They looking at the sector times, the Mercedes is pretty decent across all sectors in relation to everyone else. So yeah, that does bode very well for him. What does Russell say when he got cut off about Lewis? I don't know, Tooligans. I need to find out what he said. Let me have a quick check on Twitter. Twitter's normally a good place to find it out. We'll find out. Maybe my group chats are saying it as well. My group chats are just too busy to keep hold of. Just checking, guys. Hang on. Anyone said anything about him? Oh, here we go. Oh, I just found it. What the F was Lewis doing prepping that lap? It's fine. We'll talk about it after. Head in the game. All right, George, calm down. So that's what he said. That's what George said. He wasn't happy about. I mean, Lewis had to give George the toe twice in that last qualifying session. So that's, if you're wondering and have any wonders about who's being preferred in Mercedes this year, and you still thought Lewis was being given a fair treatment, that's an indication of who they're preferring, because you normally give your preferred driver the toe, your number one driver the toe, because it means they can go quicker, and or you do one lap, they get the toe, the next lap they don't, but you switch it. But George got it both times, and he still wasn't able to out-qualify Lewis. So maybe Lewis was playing a bit of gamesmanship there and was like, well, I'm going to go at my own pace on the outlap. And yeah, George wasn't too, yeah. So this is multi-viewer, Christian, multi-viewer. They definitely give Russell understandability. Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, look, we spoke about it at the start of the stream. Totally get that. If you were a team boss, you knew at some point you're going to have to face Hamilton out. There is going to become a point where, especially if the drivers So the only way Hamilton was ever going to get favourable treatment over Russell this year is if he was clearly outperforming George Russell at every race and every qualifying session. But he hasn't been. Now, is that because of, obviously, other means, sabotage, as the rumours have been, like, floating around? I still don't think Lewis has got the overall edge in this car on George Russell. Like, I don't think he's got the gulf in performance over George Russell that he would need to require favourable treatment in this last year. Especially when they're not fighting for a world championship either. It was always going to be George Russell favoured over Lewis. And I think Lewis is kind of a bit... I think he's a bit of naivety, has underestimated probably how much they were going to favour George, and probably so early in the season. But look, he needed to be outperforming George by a couple of attempts every single lap, basically, and he hasn't. So if Ham got the toe, he would have got pole. Maybe. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, the thing is, just because you get the toe, you then have to get it across the line with the toe, because you're going faster. You could easily lock up, make a mistake, miss your braking marker slightly, misjudge it. So yeah, the toe helps, but sometimes it's not always the better option. But it definitely helped Max Verstappen, that's for sure, because he was slower in the first sector compared to... He was about 6th. I think he was 7th or 8th at the time of that last run with the first sector. He was still on provisional pole. The first sector, he was losing so much time. And because of the toe from Perez, he got massively improved and had one of the fastest first sector times. So he would have been further back. Would Hamilton have still out-qualified him? I don't know. Maybe not. It would have been very tight. It would have been a clear Lando pole, really, if he didn't get that toe. But if you like this channel, thanks, Tooligans. Hamilton in top 2 tomorrow. I think so, yeah. I think, look, the Mercedes, if the Mercedes play ball, and it's a big if, because George Russell does have almost a personal vendetta against Lewis Hamilton, a personal rivalry against Lewis Hamilton. And I get it. Why wouldn't you want to try and beat your 7-time world champion, arguably the best of all, statistically speaking, the best of all time in F1? Of course you'd want to beat him. But sometimes he takes that a bit too far in just wanting to beat Lewis all the time rather than thinking about the team. I think tomorrow could be fireworks between those two. Could be fireworks. It's going to be interesting. And don't forget, we got Gasly and Ocon lining up alongside each other tomorrow. People are overlooking that. Ocon on his way out. So, Perez finally got to Q3. Yeah, only to start 11th tomorrow, though. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Let's just see if there's anything else coming through on Twitter, anything interesting that I can relate to you guys. So Charles Leclerc also got a reprimand for his FP3 with his contact with Lando Norris earlier. So I think they're both very, very fortunate, Lance Stroll and Leclerc, to get reprimands for that. So just having a look. If there's anything else? No, not really anything kind of coming through yet. The race will be interesting tomorrow. I'm not seeing any correspondence on race pace tomorrow, so we'll see. I think it's all to play for tomorrow, especially with that potential rain that's going to be here. So, yeah, night Warren, night Buzz. Yeah, I'm also going to call it a night as well, guys. I'm going to call it an afternoon, shall we say. I'm now going to go cool off and pour myself a nice rum and coke and chill. But yes, let's have one more rundown of this starting grid for the Spanish Grand Prix tomorrow. Lando Norris is our pole sitter in the McLaren, pipping Max Verstappen by 0.02 of a second. So that's the second race in a row where Max Verstappen has started on the front row, but not in pole position. But we know that the Red Bull is quick. We know how good Max Verstappen is, but he doesn't have the support of Sergio Perez. He might not need it. He didn't need it in Montreal, but Perez does have a free-place grid penalty. We'll get to him shortly. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell starting alongside each other on the second row. Hopefully they play ball tomorrow and don't take each other out. Charles Leclerc and Sainz in 5th and 6th on the 3rd row. The Ferrari still looks good. Still looks good. Not quite quick over a single lap yet compared to the McLaren and the Red Bull, but of course they still have 2 drivers up there as well, whereas Norris and Verstappen only have themselves. So strategy-wise, depending on how quick they are and how much time they potentially lose from maybe fighting each other, the 2 Mercedes and the 2 Ferraris could try and utilise that extra driver in strategy. Gasly and Ocon will be lining up alongside each other in P7 and P8 because Perez has a 3-place grid penalty, so he'll be starting 11th. We know that there's no love lost between those 2. Piastri will move up into P9 and Alonso will move up into P10. Bottas in P12 because Perez will be starting in 11th. Hulkenberg in 13th, Stroll in 14th, Zhou in 15th. The 2 Stake F1 cars getting 2 cars into Q2 for the first time in a long time, and Bottas starting, I think, a season best of P12 if you're excluding the sprint races. Zhou in 15th, Madison 16th, the 2 V-Carb cars of Tsunoda and Ricciardo in 17th and 18th. Not a very good performance from them. And then bringing up the rear are the 2 Williams cars. Albon in 19th and Logan Sargent in P20. And that is our grid tomorrow for the Spanish Grand Prix. Russell does take it too far from Lewis. He should really try to learn from his race pace. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting tomorrow because whatever they discuss in the engineer brief now and what they potentially plan for tomorrow will be completely thrown out the window as soon as they're out on track, at least from George Russell's side. Lewis will probably stick to it, but it's essential for Hamilton to get ahead of Russell down into the first corner, because if he doesn't, then yeah, he's not going to be given preferential treatment, is he? So yeah, he needs to get ahead of him into turn 1 so he can warrant that. But even if he does, George Russell is going to be straight on the radio. I'm quicker, get me by, let me through, look, we could do better than this, regardless of what's been agreed. So it's going to be an interesting one on the radio tomorrow if Russell is behind Hamilton. So yeah, stay tuned for that, guys. But if you can, one last time, call to arms, hit that like button on the way out. We have 438 likes. Let's see if we can get this to 500 likes. Is there 60 of you haven't hit the like button? If there still isn't, please do. It really helps push this stream and build this community we've got here. Hit the subscribe button. 25,422. Big thank you. We will be back here tomorrow. 2 o'clock is the race, UK time. I'm going to go live an hour before. We're going to have a bit of a pre-show. Have a bit of a chat. Give an opportunity for everyone to get hyped and chat before the race and give everyone your predictions. Thank you for a good commentary, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. I'll be live, Anthony. I'm going to go live an hour before. 1 o'clock UK time. So 1 hour before the race starts, I'll be going live. If you want to be reminded of when I go live, hit the notification button, which is the bell, and you'll get a notification half an hour before I go live, so you can come in and chat amongst yourselves, waiting for me to go live. So we are live on stream on Twitch as well. I have no idea if we've had viewers on Twitch, but if I have, big thank you over there, and yeah, big thank you to all the subs that are coming, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of your Saturday, and we're in for a very interesting Spanish Grand Prix at Barcelona tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye.